And Rick Wucklow as we're set to get things underway. Drury tosses it up and it's controlled by Boston University. This is Jeff Storm and Mike Jarvis with the ball. There's the series between the two. And right away, Drury feeds the ball back as Mark Daly is long off the rim in his attempt for three. Indiana on the conversion.
You see a 2-3 matchup zone. That means when the ball comes in your area, you go out and play that guy man on man and then drop back as he passes the ball away.
Indiana with Graham at the point. Turnover. Bailey. As Indiana with some good ball motion. Bailey sets three on the way and long off the rim. Reynolds back up. It's blocked away.
That was Scott. He's their leading shot blocker. Reynolds did a nice job on the offensive board. Just couldn't get the shot away before Scott blocked it.
James Brown handling the ball for the first time. Daly with the ball knocked away. And Indiana having trouble coming with a handle on a fast break as Graham steps on the line and Volcel makes the call into the basket.
You can see both possessions Indiana's had. They're trying to get the ball down fast on the break. Reynolds pulled the first one back, and Bailey got the shot. This time a turnover cost Indiana a chance to get that shot away.
So Boston University trying to get something going here as Mark Daly sets it from the outside. Brown. Handling the ball is Jason Scott, 6'7" senior from Temple Hills, Maryland. Inside, all alone on the side for his first effort is Jason Scott. Loose ball picked up by Nover. And here comes Indiana. Henderson off the glass. And a little bit too steep an angle there. He couldn't get that ball to fall from that direction. Off the front of the rim, no good, as neither team is showing too much in its ability to attack the basket.
I don't think either team's really into the offense they want to be into. There's some outside shots taken, and there's another one by Boston U that doesn't drop.
And as Jarvis's shot is long off the rim, the first foul of the game, goes against Boston.
There's Bob Brown, their coach. He's in his second year. He played here at Boston U. And I got a chance to talk to him before the game. He said, our kids are really happy to be here. He said, I'm really looking forward to coaching against Indiana.
Indiana breaks the press. Henderson has it knocked out of his hands as he went up for an easy shot. And coming up over the top was Mike Jarvis. He's only 6 feet tall, out of Cambridge, Massachusetts.
This is not a tall Boston U team. Their three inside players are all 6'7", but they're giving Indiana some problems as Reynolds misses the outside shot.
It's for three. So both teams battling through 2.5 minutes and no score. Step up by Brown. He tries to get some penetration. There's another block by Alan Henderson. Leads the team with 9.
Well, the defensive effort has been there early. A nice shot block that time by Henderson.
Nover on the post. And the post move. And the foul was committed quickly by James Brown.
That's a big difference in Nover's game this year compared to last. You see Henderson leads the team in rebounds and block shots, but Nover's not taking any time now. When he gets the ball, he used to hesitate a lot, and now he goes right to the hoop. Let's watch Henderson on that last block. See how he keeps those arms extended straight up, waits till the player releases the ball, and then knocks it away.
Bailey lets three go. That's long, and the rebound out into the hands of Boston. Each team still searching for the first basket. Mark Daly leads his team with 23.5 points average. Up to the glass, blocked by Henderson.
Oh, that is great. Henderson twice already. It looked like a couple layups for Boston U, and Henderson swatting them away.
Bailey tries to take it through the pack. And we have a foul in from behind. Matt Nover with Indiana's first.
I think we've had a combination here on both teams of the most shots blocked in the first 4 minutes of a college game. Here's another one by James Brown, 6'7" sophomore, and still no score on the board.
Brown came into this game with 2 block shots and 6 steals. For a forward, that's pretty good action. Daly Trying to get room, tries to get away from Graham, but Greg stays close.
It'll be a good matchup. Graham's very quick, and he's got to stay on Daly all the time. Look at that, didn't give him any room on that possession.
There's a good feed into Brown. That's off the rim 2 times. Back into the hands of Boston, and they can't buy it. Neither can Indiana. We're still scoreless, and we played 4 minutes.
You see the crowd getting into it now a little bit.
Greg, Chris Reynolds from 3. Yes!
There it is. Reynolds not hesitating, stepped right up to take that 3.
So Indiana draws first blood and a whistle, and Henderson gets a little body as he goes against the posting James Brown. Henderson's first foul. I believe that we have a timeout. Yes, we do. 15:41 left on the clock. It's Indiana 3-0. We'll be back after these messages. Of the Big Ten Conference Incorporated and is intended solely for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this broadcast without the express prior written consent of the Big Ten Conference is prohibited. It'll be Boston ball.
Well, there's the shooting, 0 out of 7 for Boston. They haven't scored yet. Indiana just 1 of 6, so the defensive effort has been there. Boston U with 6 rebounds already.
Boston tries to run a set from the inbounds and succeeds in getting it back into the hands of Greg Graham. Greg tries to drive on Daly, and it's short. And Boston's down underneath there to pull down the rebound. Never did get control, and then lost it on the line.
He forced that shot a little. He was falling away from the basket, even though it was only about a 3 or 4 foot shot, and obviously the shot came up short.
And a whistle.
Another set play on the out-of-bounds play. Greg Graham makes a cut into the baseline or into the foul line area. Damon looks at him and throws that lob pass. Boston U had to foul Graham to prevent that layup. Out of bounds to Indiana.
So it was dead ball foul against Mike Jarvis, senior from Cambridge, Massachusetts. His first. Reynolds, the only points, 3. Daly. He's going with a short lineup in there. Nover tries to get to the glass. Look at Henderson move over and get possession. Nover comes back to pick up the loose ball for 2.
Well, there Indiana finally showed some strength inside. Henderson with the first rebound, and then Nover finally put it in.
New man in the lineup is Huckabee. Oh, there's a shot by Bailey that breaks the ice for Boston. Or Daly, I'm sorry, Daly. Mark Daly. So we have a Daly and a Bailey. And a Drury is an official. 5-2 Indiana. Doesn't go, but we have a foul, and that's going against Barry Huckabee. Barry used to be captain of the Newcastle Trojans.
He's a
Sam Alford,
familiar face to all these Eastern Indiana people. He's a freshman now here at Boston U. Played for Sam Alford in Newcastle. 6'7", 190 pounds, getting some early action here for Boston U. He's been coming off the bench for them regularly, though, in their early games.
So Indiana with the lead and the ball on the foul. Graham steps up just inside the free throw line, misses, and the rebound is tipped around and pushed, and once again, coming in from behind Alan Henderson. A little bit too close. Personal number 2.
He's aggressive on those rebounds. The 3 Boston U players, watch him slam the ball up, all 3 of them going up, and then Henderson comes in there. You see the shove to the back on Huckabee, and Allen has picked up 2 fouls now. Out of bounds to Boston U.
A substitution for Boston, Kevin Harris. He wears number 45, 6'6" junior, out of New York. Daly, and it doesn't go. Boston playing very aggressively to the ball. There is Harris's shot, no good. Back into the hands of Nover. Henderson, and he is hooked by Harris as he pulled down the rebound. So Kevin Harris picks up personal number 1.
Indiana with a little lapse there on the rebounding. Robert Bailey checks in for Boston U. It enabled Boston U to get some second shots. They couldn't get them to go. They will also full court press, and here you see it for the first time.
And I don't think 4 seconds ticked off the clock, and Harris has picked up his second.
They'll do a lot of different things defensively. And that's the first time we saw the press. But Indiana just not on track offensively. It looks, if they run that 2-3 matchup, the shot looks like it's going to come right from the top of the key where Reynolds made the first one. Indiana now running an overload on the side. 3 players on one side of the floor.
And that's a good move off the post and good recognition from the top.
Now look for that offense again because there were too many offensive players, not enough defensive players to guard against that. Nova ends up with a layup.
Huckabee. There's the cut through the paint. Off the rim, no good. And once again, Indiana.
Indiana's watching the ball come off the rim instead of going after it. And Boston U is just slapping it away. Look at Huckabee now with a rebound.
Travel against Boston. Well, Huckabee is really playing aggressively inside. Here comes Indiana against the press. That's a full court press, and they do a pretty good job of it. Indiana breaks it.
Great bounce pass to break the press.
Nover. Daly with the rebound. Boston trailing 7-2 with the ball. 2 here. Puts them back in within 1 field goal. And it's not going to go. Henderson finally grabs it off for Indiana.
He has a tower of strength in there. He goes up for that ball and usually comes down with a good job.
Damon Bailey. 2 Baileys in there right now. Damon for Indiana. Robert for Boston.
Changed up their defense now. Looks like a 1-2-2. And you see right there, Kevin Harris at the point. Turnover by Indiana.
12 minutes, 15, now 12 seconds remaining. 3-point effort, no good. And once again, very aggressively, Boston U chases it down. Cross, it goes to Huckabee. He fires and scores.
Good pass that time by Daly. Graham is really all over him. He's not been able to get his shot away. He makes the pass. Boston U trailing only by 3.
Bailey over Harris. No! My goodness, what a lid on that. Indiana can't be shooting over 15%.
That was Bob Brown just getting out of the way in time before the ball hit him. Boy, the ball was all over the floor. Good hustle by Reynolds to keep it in play, but Indiana just not solid on the offense yet.
Bailey for 3. Nope. He was out here before the game, about 2.5, 3 hours before the game, shooting from outside that stripe. Daly from outside for 3. No good. Indiana this time has the help side of the floor rebound, and that's Reynolds. Underneath, Graham. That was blocked. Graham back up again.
Oh, that was Henderson. Great play by Henderson he kept the ball alive. It was Graham that scored, but Henderson kept that alive so that Graham could get the rebound.
Huckabee. And an offensive foul. Good position picked up by Damon Bailey inside as Barry has personal number 2. And we have a timeout. 10:47 left in the first half. Indiana 9-4. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
There you go. Good shot there. Very good. Very good.
Indiana with a 5-point lead and the time remaining. Laz, is this a freshman mistake?
Defense, watch this. India's been beaten a lot on back cuts. Watch Alan Henderson on your left. He turns to watch the ball. His man back cuts into the basket with an easy pass, but Nover comes over to save the day to prevent the layup. But that's how India's been beat. You've got to watch your man and the ball at the same time. It's tough to do. Here's Reynolds. Watch him on the offense. He fakes right, comes left, goes right into Graham. There's the block. Watch Henderson. Keeps alive, and then Graham's got the easy layup. Good play by both players.
Mike Jarvis back in for Boston. Indiana playing with Bailey and Graham. There's the shooting.
2 out of 19, 11% for Boston. Not much better for Indiana.
Travel underneath.
So the Boston U has really come out and played hard, Chuck. And Bob Brown, their coach, told me that that's what they would do, and they really have. They're a scrappy bunch. They don't give you anything easy, and it hasn't been a pretty game. And Indiana with just 9 points, and we're almost 10 minutes into the ballgame.
And Calvert Cheney is seeing his first action of the game. He was in at that last timeout. Out of bounds to the Hoosiers. Bob Knight is up, cheering the defensive pressure.
Cheney's got to get himself involved in the offense now. He's going to start the far side on the baseline. Let's see what Indiana does to try to get him open.
Ten minutes remaining, first half. Graham and Leary. This is Todd Leary handling the ball now to Damon. Calvert, he goes up, fouled as he made his move down to the baseline.
Cheney that time moved quite a bit. He started on the baseline, then moved all the way out to the three-point line, gave that ball up. Watch he and Nova both fight position inside. Cheney puts his head down and goes in, draws the foul. So right away, first time down the floor, he gets involved offensively. Good sign.
The foul is against Matt Price. Price is a sophomore, 6'10", from Seattle, Washington. So he makes a coast-to-coast travel to play his college ball as Nover comes out, and Todd Lindemann, the freshman from Channing, Michigan, checks in for Indiana. Nover sits down with 4 points and a personal.
Small lineup for Indiana now. Lindemann at the center. Cheney at forward, really 3 guards. You've got Greg Graham, Todd Leary, and Damon Bailey. Although Bailey did start today at a forward position. And there he is with a rebound.
That's right. Lindemann got a hand on it, and Bailey put it back in for 2. 3-point play for Indiana. And for Bailey, that's his first points. Turnover.
That was Matt Price, just juggled those feet, not making Bob Brown happy at all. Quick turnover for Boston U. Indiana starting to get a little offense rolling now, and this is where it can be crucial to Boston U. 5 turnovers for them, 3 for Indiana. And here's the overload again on the far side. 3 IU offensive players on the left side of the floor.
Jason Scott in the lineup for Boston as Graham's pass goes off the leg and picked up by Boston.
Good trap situation there. Damon nearly got it, and he did get it. Great play by Bailey.
One too many passes as Robert Bailey was sort of deprived of an assist there by Damon Bailey. We have another foul.
Well, he's really made the action in the last 30 seconds. He got the rebound basket. He came down and tried to sneak up from behind to make that steal, and just couldn't quite watch. Here's the trap, and as the offense turns its head, Damon chases after. He falls down, recovers enough to make that steal. That is good defensive effort right there.
So Damon's at the line on the 1-and-1, misses.
Saw him practice out here, Chuck, while he was shooting those free throws. Made every one of them. Get in the game, he missed his first one.
Sit around, Scott to Jarvis. Tipped away, good hands, and off the hand of James Brown. So good pressure by Calvert. Cheney forces the turnover.
Cheney was in good position, arm extended. There's Bob Brown, coach of Boston U. He played there at Boston U. It's now his 2nd season back as coach. And really a great attitude. He loves to be here. They follow Indiana. Back in Boston U, they've got a satellite they just like to watch. Indiana play ball.
Cheney from the corner, 3, yes!
Second game now that Cheney has not started. Again, he only played those 8 second half minutes against Vanderbilt. And here he is in the first half. He's already got 5 points.
Laz, as a player, there's a good hand over the ball again by Calvert. As a former player, and you watch Cheney, and he comes out and he looks very good for 8 or 9 minutes, and then sort of goes away and hides a little bit. What do you think the problem is?
Well, it's concentration. As long as you're in the ball game, you can't worry about your last play or think about your next play. You got to play out there now. It's good to see Calvert concentrating on the defense, the deflected pass, and then that one right there. That'll help his offense.
3-point effort off the glass through the hands of Lindemann, but tipped back over to Graham. And a bump. That's going to go against Boston. Bailey, Robert Bailey, and lest you think that we're trying to confuse you, there is Robert Bailey for Boston, Mark Daly for Boston, who is back in. That's Mark right there. And Damon Bailey for Indiana. Henderson will report back in for Indiana in just a moment.
Defensive effort, we called it. There's Alan Henderson checking in. Indiana's given up 4 points. They have 8:13 left in the half. Damon Bailey comes out. Really played a good first half with his hustle. But just 4 points. Indiana on the hand, just 15. They have had no picnic either from the offensive end.
I think a good example of what you were talking about in concentration, Laz, is what you see in Indiana's inconsistency at the free throw line. They're only shooting 69% on the season, and a free throw essentially is concentration.
That's exactly right. The players have got to learn to do it in the games. Greg Graham comes out, and Chris Reynolds goes in. We might mention Jamal Meeks is not dressed today in uniform. There was a death in his family. He's back home in the Freeport area. Here's a steal. And so Jamal will not play in today's ballgame.
Reynolds makes the drive, fouled as he goes to the basket. Everything was trailing Reynolds. He did the right thing in taking it in. Foul goes against Jarvis, his second.
Here's a little trap. Look at Calvert coming over. Henderson pinching off. Storm can't come up with the ball and gives Reynolds the break. Protects the ball well with his body. And a foul has to be committed to prevent the layup. 2 shots now for Chris.
17-4. We went through over 4 minutes of play without a score in this game. And just before the first timeout, the first official timeout, Indiana scored a 3. And that came from this young fellow at the line, who puts his second one up and can't get it to fall. Tipped away, it'll be Boston ball. Off the hand of Todd Lindemann.
Well, that's what the official said anyway. It looked like Todd was reaching for it. I didn't see that he grabbed it, but Boston U gets it out of bounds.
And a block.
That's a close call. Chris thought he was in good position, but you've got to be set before that player makes contact.
We have an official's timeout, 7:57 left in the half. It's Indiana 18-4, and we'll return after these messages. 18-4, leading scorer for Indiana. Well, there are 4 leading scorers. Chris Reynolds, Greg Graham, Matt Nover, and Calvert Cheney, each with 4 points.
And that's been a pattern for Indiana this year. They have 5 players in double-digit scoring, and that's great balance, really. Calvert Cheney, of course, led the team last year at over 20 points, or right at 20, but not the case this year. Calvert getting started a little bit slower.
Boston U with the ball. In it comes to Jarvis.
Indiana only 2 of 7 from 3-point range. Boston U uses that 3-point shot a lot in their offense, but not yet today.
Daly lets 3 go, and he's fouled. Leary guarding pretty carefully there, picks up the personal, a little bit too carefully. Todd gets some skin from outside.
He had good pressure.
And they say it was after the shot.
Which means the shot would have counted. Indiana not over the limit, so it's not the 1-and-1, and it goes out of bounds.
Boston trying to set some offense, trailing by 14 points. Overplay there by Henderson, loses his man as he went for the steal. And the loose ball picked up by Allen. Here he comes, he can put it down for a 6'10 man, and then lost it out of bounds. Just as I said that.
It's better for the big guy to give it up, Chuck. You're right there. He should have given it off to Reynolds and let Reynolds fill the lane.
Outside, off the rim, no good. Look who chases it down. Calvert. He's done a pretty good job since he's come in there, playing both ends of the court last.
Exactly right. He's got to do that. That overall effort will help his offensive game. There you see him feeding into the post to Lindemann. And the points will just come to a guy like Cheney if he does all the other things. Bob Brown not happy with what's going on. Still, only 4 points for his team.
That was the first against Jason Scott. You said that those points will come, and they'll also come for this fella, the big fella, Todd Lindeman, because that, quite frankly, was a very quick post move that he made, turning back after he'd gone out to set a pick, and tried to set the pick for Cheney, then turned around and accepted the post pass.
Right, he's got to learn how to become difficult to guard. He's going to concentrate a lot on setting picks, and when he hears them switch, that means he's got to turn to the basket, get that ball, and quickly go up with it. So Lindeman's going to get his points in a different way, but there'll be a good share for him.
Got a pretty good touch from the line.
Yes, he does. I like his outside shot. They worked on that hook shot inside.
Half-court pressure and a trap by Indiana. There's Lindeman with a hand on it. Nobody over there to help him out, however. Good pressure by Indiana. Daly. And bumped, knocked away from the ball. Whose ball's it going to be? It's going to be Boston ball. No foul.
See, there's two aggressive teams. Both teams are going at each other. You see the Indiana bench. Both coaches have got to be pleased with the effort out here. Not the sloppy play, which creates sloppy play for the opposing team.
It's 24, 16-point Indiana lead over to Jarvis, and back around they go. This is Storm, then Daly. Scott. They've got a post, but no basket. Indiana tries to fight for the ball. Bodies go down. Daly in three-point range area. He cans it.
He took his time in that possession. Finally gets the three-pointer.
He is a 63% shooter from outside 19 feet. Cheney. That's short. Follows. Drops it back out to Leary. Yes!
Good foul that time by Calvert, and then he quickly gets it off to Leary. This is the best we've seen Calvert play so far in this season.
Jarvis. Almost out at center court. There's a back cut, and we have a block underneath. No basket. It goes against Boston. Well, when they just seem to be getting something to go, they make a little mistake like this.
Well, it was a foul away from the ball, so that basket by Boston you won't count. It was on a pick. Lindeman's going to end up at the free throw line.
But once again, it was the back cut that set it up.
Well, that's difficult. I know I always had problems with that. Trying to watch the ball, trying to watch your man. He makes that quick step backwards, and you got to open up to follow, and it's tough to do it. You'll hear a roar as Eric Anderson's going to check in the ball game. And Henderson will leave.
Anderson comes in at the 5:49 mark of the first half. There's Eric.
Good job by Lindeman up there at that free throw line. He looks a lot more comfortable. You can see he's at 70% on those free throws for this year.
Two of his former teachers at Channing, they are both retired now, made a 10-hour drive back through Green Bay, Wisconsin to come down here to watch this tourney. They were here for the game last Tuesday against Vanderbilt. There's the back cut again. Daly with two more as somebody went to sleep.
Well, there it is. Now, 2 times in a row now, Boston U's been able to run that back cut, and that time the easy layup. There's the matchup zone again. I think Indiana needs that pass fake a little more. Get that guy moving a half a step the wrong way. Make it easier to get a shot.
Anderson tries to go up. Lindeman was there. The red jerseys pull it down and thrown right through 2 outstretched arms. One belonging to Mark Daly and the other James Brown.
This is a good example, Chuck, of the defense really giving the effort out there, because the offense is really struggling at the other end. 24 points, not enough to usually in a ball game to have a lead, but the defense has made up for the offensive mistakes.
Leary for 3. Yes! One thing that Bob Knight said the other night that Todd was going to have to start doing, and that was improving his shot from outside. Well, that's a good start. And countering at the other end, however, and no pressure on James Brown as he went up for his first field goal.
Here's the full court pressure again. Good job by Reynolds to bust through there. Now Indiana sets the offense.
Back out to Leary. Leary and Cheney so far seem to have the only consistent hands from outside. So Leary missed an opportunity there. Fumble pass. 4 minutes, 14 seconds. Yeah, our director saw that too.
He's getting anxious to take that shot.
Bailey misses short with that one. That's funny because I saw him out here. Of course, no pressure on him, but he must have hit 8 or 9 of those in a row. There's the turnover as Jarvis got a little too anxious. And with 3:59 left to play, we have another timeout. 27-11 Indiana. And we'll be back after these messages from your local stations. This is the Raycom Sports Network. Fewest points was Notre Dame, 94-29.
In an IU game.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I thought he meant a classic game.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. 27-11, there's the time, less than 4 remaining. And it certainly hasn't been a spectacular show of shooting percentages.
5 of 37, 14% for Boston U. Look at they've taken 12 more shots than Indiana. Indiana just 8 of 25, 32%.
Well, I was going to say Indiana is better, but that certainly is not winning for Indiana.
Still not going to get it done, although the defensive effort has been
Bailey. Indiana still going this time with Nover and Anderson. Anderson from the corner. Bailey chases down, drops it back to Reynolds, who steps up, and it's not going to go. Nover won't go. I can't say they haven't had their chances, but you question some of the chances inside there too. Up to the glass goes Graham on the drive, and he draws the foul. If you can't hit it from inside, drive it in, draw the foul.
Great offense there. They were able to get the rebound, and then Graham sees the opening. Instead of stopping for that jumper, he goes right up. Good strong move. Really does a nice job of drawing that foul. He'll get a lot of three-point plays. This time it didn't go. He gets 2 at the line.
Jason Scott with his second. Scott, as we said, from Temple Hills, Maryland, as Greg finds the range to lead all score. I'll take that back. Mark Daly has 7. I was going to say Graham has 5 now. Indiana's scoring well balanced. Make it 6. Greg averaging 13.2. He's the second leading scorer on the Indiana team, believe it or not, with that average. And thrown away, Indiana ball.
Damon Bailey that time on the pressure. Coach Knight off the bench. Just wants a little better shooting, I think. 11th turnover for Boston.
I sometimes wonder, Laz, whether or not a coach, even though he does want better shooting, has any basic control over that. There isn't anything that you can really tell the fellas except make sure you have good shot selection.
Exactly. Shot selection is what he's looking for. The shots have been there. Boston U does a good job of hustling. Look at how covered up Nover is inside. 3 guys on him.
Good move, no good. Good shot selection there, but it wouldn't fall. And he puts it back up. Graham will go to the line, and that's number 3 on Jason Scott.
Well, you can see Bob Brown doesn't agree with that call, but we just talked about Graham being able to draw that foul, and here he does it again. Let's watch inside. He's got the ball. He goes up for the first shot, misses it. Tapped by Nover. Graham's got it again. It's just hard to grab that ball today. Right there, you saw the arm. And Scott draws the foul.
Let's take a look at a couple of substitutions. 0 Tim Westerfield. He's a junior, 6'8", from Anderson, Indiana. Played up there under Norm Hill. So I wonder if Norm's here tonight. He comes to some of these games.
Westerfield went to a junior college in Tennessee. So this is his first year at Boston U.
And that won't fall. Nover over the shoulder commits the foul. Now I can see how some of these fouls can be committed. If you get a defensive player or a rebounding player that's a little hesitant in going for the ball, with the ball, you get the feeling, I can go over it.
Right, and then you'll hit them in the back, and that'll be a foul on you.
And there's good pressure again. Chris Reynolds with hands all around Mike Jarvis, and he turns it over.
The guards are really doing a job out there by pressuring the Boston U guards. Created many turnovers here in the first half, just moving their hands, unforced errors really on passes.
Indiana looking at looks like a 1 or 2-1-2 right now. Maybe a 2-3. Anderson, there's Eric's first point. See Lindemann again in just a minute. There's a miraculous type of an effort by Mark Daly and could not quite get it to the rim. Reynolds.
Just isn't a lot of room in that three-point area to get the pass into Anderson or Nover. Boston U's just forcing that shot to come from the outside.
Anderson inside to Nover.
You can see it goes in, and right away there's three guys on him. He wisely dumps it right back out.
Last year, Nover could not have handled that.
No, he hesitated. Now look at that. Now he turns right away. He gets the ball the first time, sees the three guys on him. He dishes back out. The ball comes back into him. He turns right away for the jump shot, draws the foul. Very good offense by Nover.
Robert Bailey back in for Boston. And Anderson sits down as Lindemann checks back in. Minute 35 left first half. This will be Nover's first trip to the line. He has been, along with Calbert Cheney and Eric Anderson, the most consistent, most prolific from the stripe, 80%. As Indiana shoots only 69% as a team. Counts for points 5 and 6. 34-11, Indiana. And he stepped on the line. Once again, lack of court recognition.
Well, Michael Jarvis is just having trouble with either Reynolds or Graham. 13 turnovers now. And again, many of those forced right at the 10-second line by the Indiana guards. Bob Knight pleased with that.
Manolopoulos, Sotras Manolopoulos, 6'2" junior from Athens, Greece. Believe it or not.
Interesting story.
How in heaven's name did Brown recruit him?
He came before Coach Brown got there, but he never saw Boston U. Had heard about it from another coach who was at Boston U and said, I'm coming.
I'll tell you something, their second, third, and fourth gear turned into that one by Greg Graham.
He's really come on here in the last few minutes offensively.
And through the legs of Indiana, it was last touched by a Hoosier, so it'll be Boston ball. Go ahead and finish your story.
And next year, they'll have a player coming from Australia. Bob Brown's son is a coach in the Australian League, and he's found a player that will, again, come to Boston without seeing Boston, the university, any of that stuff, and ready to play. Those guys love basketball.
Brown from the side, about 10 feet for his second field goal. 36-13.
Todd's got to get those hands up, try to distract those shots that'll come from inside. Here's that tough zone. Look at Kevin Harris, 6'6", playing that point. That makes it tough for that point guy to get that shot away. The shot's got to go down to the baseline. There it is. Greg Graham with the shot.
They go to the hot hand, Greg Graham, and that ball was in the well and back out, and a fumble. Lost ball as Kevin Harris just couldn't lock it up, and it's Indiana ball.
It was Greg Graham. He fake trapped that time. Big guys trying to bring the ball down the floor results in the turnover.
30 seconds left in this first 20-minute period.
See if Indiana holds for one shot. Shot clock is off. Got plenty of time. Sure enough, Chris Reynolds calls it out. Maybe I'll just play catch here for a while.
21 seconds. They want to start a little motion here, and they started early. Normally, they wait until about 12 seconds.
It's been tougher to get a shot against this offense, so they started a little earlier.
And foul will send Indiana to the line as James Brown, with a reach around, just stuck his arm out there and grabbed for his third foul.
Graham is really learning how to use that quickness to his benefit, especially offensively. We know he can do it defensively, but he's gotten guys out of position with that quick first step. We've seen him change his shot around on those layups as he moves the ball from hand to hand to draw fouls. He's going to be a guy that gets to the line a lot as Huckabee checks back in.
Replacing Brown. Interesting observation, Laz. With all the quickness in there, Graham and Cheney are so quick working that move and that quick baseline cut that they can make to the basket. And Reynolds, along with Meeks when he is here, obviously, with that penetration off the top along with Damon Bailey, and there is a lot of quick step offense out there.
That's right. They've got to learn to watch for that defense that collapses on them with that step and learn to dish off.
4 seconds. Monolopoulos will shoot it off the glass, and we have come to the end of the first half. Well, it's been an unusual first half, very lackluster in scoring percentages, but Indiana has managed a 25-point halftime lead. The end of the half with the score, IU 38, Boston University 13.
In Tucson around that time of year too,
boy.
can't you? Huh?
Lantana Canyon, what a gorgeous, gorgeous course that is. Yes, sir.
Well, Chuck, I have been working on the Hoosier offense at halftime, and I've got a play diagram that I'm not going to tell you if Indiana runs until they do. And when they do run it, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to take credit for it. Let's see what happens.
All right. Outside is Graham. Indiana starting the second half with possession of the ball. Graham tries penetration into Henderson. There wasn't any pass there. And so he held it up, knocked out of his hand as Chris Reynolds was trying to pass back to Greg, so it'll be Indiana ball.
I like this defense. It's a scrappy little defense, a matchup zone, and they've gone really now to a 1-2-2. They've been fluctuating a 2-3 or 1-2-2. Look at that big point guard out there. Hard for that guard to get a shot, and there's a turnover.
And Indiana threw it away. Explain, Coach, Laz, a coach's view of what matchup zone is.
Well, it's half man-to-man and half zone.
Okay.
That means you can't know for sure which guy's going to be guarding you, but you're always sure that somebody will.
So how do you recognize that it's a man or a zone?
If it's a man defense, the guy follows you all over the floor. If it's a matchup zone, he only guards you when you're in his area.
Okay.
Calvert Cheney starting the second half. Indiana beating that defense down the floor, and he's going to draw the foul and get to go to the line.
It's the third on Mike Jarvis.
We saw in the first half one time Indiana overloaded the side of the zone, and it got an easy basket. And I got to admit, Chuck, I didn't come up with this play, but Pete Newell, who's visiting here all the way from California, I had a chance to talk to him at halftime. He diagrammed a play for me that we used to run when I played Indiana against zones like this. Minnesota used to run a matchup zone. And Pete was telling me to put an offensive man at the free throw line and use him to pop out and try to get that shot. Let's see if Indiana does that here in the second half.
Shot was blocked, but James Brown lured Henderson into coming after the ball, and Allen has committed his third foul.
Let's watch the feet now. He's moving. Cheney's going to come over to help. So he moved that arm right down and commits the foul on Brown. He's going to have to, will he come out or not? That's just 3 fouls.
I think he's just over talking to Coach.
He's a great shot blocker. Just got to watch those fouls.
Brown continues the sort of the lackluster free throw shooting that Boston has had all season. He hits the second, but Boston shooting only 67% from the line, just 2 percentage points worse than Indiana. There's Graham on the drive, gets up to the glass, reverse spin, pulls it away from the ball, and out of bounds on the outlet pass, gives the ball back to Indiana.
Well, it's good quickness by Graham, but the shot was awkward, and Coach Knight is talking to him about that. He's got to be under control when he takes that shot.
Looking for penetration. There's Cheney on a great flash move, and Reynolds ready.
That's right. If you can get Cheney to stay on the bottom, right on the baseline, the defense doesn't watch the guy down there. They're watching the guy with the ball, and just have him sneak right up into that 3-second lane, get a quick pass, let him turn and shoot. Good move.
No call. Boy, even the player thought it was a travel. That was Jason Scott. Scott thought he'd committed and was ready to toss it to the referee. Foul is against Anderson, his first.
Let's watch Indiana offensively. Look at Calvert. See, nobody's watching him. He sneaks right by Brown, quickly gets the shot away. Brown's only 2 feet away, but doesn't have time to block that shot. Good camera angle right there to see it.
Now, a lot of that was created by Henderson's post move, too. Brown gives it up. Scott will shoot. It's short. And on the line, a Terrier. That's Jeff Storm, a junior from Aurora, Colorado. That's a little community just on the eastern outskirts of Denver. Oh, look at Reynolds break it through. Henderson with a delay, and he's fouled.
Much better on the break that time by Indiana. They filled the lane. That could be 4 fouls now on Brown. Let's watch it again. Reynolds in the middle. No look pass that time. He goes right to Henderson, the block by Brown, and he does pick up his 4th foul. Let's see what Bob Brown decides to do.
Well, he sends in Robert Bailey to replace Jarvis. So a freshman, 6'1" freshman from Worcester, Massachusetts, replaces a senior from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Alan Henderson with his first point. You know, we make special emphasis on that. Gee, that's his first point. But I think the one thing that we forget is back in the days of 72, 73, and 74, and that was role playing. And if you're not getting the shots, then you pick up another part of your role playing.
That's exactly right. And the team has got to learn. Look at that, Brown from the outside.
For his 7th point. And here's that full court pressure. Greg breaks it easily. Reynolds protecting the ball, then picks up his dribble. Graham. Reynolds, no penetration. Good. Now that shows the matchup there because he was picked up in the man out of what appeared to be a 2-3.
Anderson tried the shot from outside. The ball did come back to him out of bounds to Indiana.
Storm comes out. Harris reports in for Boston. The Terriers with only 16 points, halftime score 38-13. Indiana has managed only 5 in the second half play. Boston, out of bounds, Indiana.
It's hard to get those passes in there. The defense really clamping back.
It's a harassing type defense, just all around it. Back to Cheney. And a foul, offensive foul. Chris Reynolds.
He fends off with that left arm. He dribbles one hand and uses the other arm to fend off the defense, and he got called that time. Let's watch now. He's going to dribble with his left, his right hand, look, push right there. And there's the call. Brosell on top of it.
Second foul on Chris. It's a long, long shot by Daly. Here's the outlet up court to Graham. Slam dunk, reverse slam dunk. Color.
Brought them to their feet. Henderson with the lead pass and 360 that time.
Harris. As Boston University tries to get something going. And a whistle and over the shoulder Anderson as he tried to come for the ball. He's called for his second foul.
He was out of position that time. You see, he had he was facing out of bounds, and his back should be facing out of bounds. Watch this. See how he reached him there, caused the contact there. He should be stepping around there and keeping that arm there. It was a foul.
Now, does he come with the other arm?
Yeah, he's got to use the other arm. Exactly, Chuck. He was a step slow that time. Here's a steal.
And a jump ball. It'll go to Boston.
See, even when it looks like you got a clean steal, they put a hand in there and tie you up, and the possession arrow goes to Boston U. So they took a fast break layup away and give themselves possession. Good hustle.
You know, a game like this is good experience for Indiana because this is a team that's all around you, all over you. They're not in the game point-wise, but they can cause you a lot of trouble with your tempo.
I mean, you wouldn't think Indiana's up 29 points with the trouble they've had offensively. They've really earned every point they've gotten. But you're right, Chuck. It's great to play against a team like this.
And there's another three by Mark Daly. That's his range, his second three, and he has 10 points.
He's starting to warm up now. So you just can't drive that middle without getting 2 or 3 guys on it. Good shot by Henderson.
And Henderson showed a lot of poise in stepping up for that one. 47-19, Indiana. Those of you who wonder in Bob Knight coach games what the lowest number of points scored was, as a number 3 was taken, this by Kevin Harrison. They're coming alive. 94-29, Indiana won that game. That was Notre Dame. In the dedication game, as a matter of fact, here at Assembly Hall. Lost out of bounds, Indiana. We have a timeout, 15:38 left to play. Indiana has the lead, 47-22, and we'll return after these messages. It'll be tomorrow night, and if Indiana wins this game, it will be a championship game. Either Tennessee Martin or Central Michigan, depending on the outcome of the second game tonight. Those 2 teams will be meeting immediately following this game, about 20 minutes or so after this game has been concluded. 15 and a half minutes left to play. 47-22 Indiana, and a whistle stops the action. And it's going to go against
the Huckabee on a moving screen.
It's his 4th.
And here's the full court press. Coach Knight not happy with what he's seen in parts of today's ballgame.
Graham to Bailey, and up quickly to Reynolds as Indiana tries to get into the attack mode. Reynolds steps up off the rim, no good. Look at Henderson fight for position and score over Jason Scott.
Boy, it looked like Scott had everything but the ball, and just before it got to his hands, Henderson leaps up and grabs it.
Daly as Graham steps out on him. And a bump, and there's weak side position. Huckabee puts it up off the rim, no good. Look at Henderson out with the ball. Up it comes. Graham will hold it up.
There, 1-on-2, he did the rise thing, slowed it up.
Oh, that was right into the face. Look at that save. Back over. Graham right into the face of Matt Nover. It's a wonder he even got a handle on that. Henderson. And a foul. Blocking foul goes against the Terriers. That's on Scott. His 4th.
Number 42, Jason Scott.
14 and a half minutes. We played a minute. 49-22 Indiana. Inbounds. The alley-oop from Bailey to Henderson.
Bob Brown not happy about that. You saw the Boston U coach on the bench just before that pass came in.
Daly gives it up to Huckabee, and they want to come back. This fella's the one that leads them in scoring, 23 and a half. He'll let it fly, and it's not going to go. Reynolds clears for the Hoosiers. Henderson. Out of bounds, Indiana. Huckabee with a hand on it, and it'll be Hoosier ball. Substitutions. Back in is Jeff Storm, also James Brown, Tim Westerfield. From Anderson, Indiana, will be in the lineup replacing Jason Scott. Bailey behind a screen by Nover, elects not to shoot it.
Good defense right there. You see they forced the ball to be picked up. Nearly a 5-second call. That point guard defensively is just making it tough for Indiana to work around.
Won't go, but Graham goes back to the line on the foul. Westerfield was there. Let's see. It is Westerfield, his first.
Here's the ball going inside. It's 1-on-1 with the point guard. Reynolds gets it inside to Graham. Graham was 7 of 8 in the first half from the line. Here he's going to get a chance again to get up there. So 7 of his 11 points came from the line. Indiana now 18 of 22 from the free throw line, 19 of 23. Boston U, 1 out of 2 for the game.
Graham hitting both for his 15th point, improving on his charity stripe percentage, 69 coming into this game, 69%. Off the rim, no good, and Indiana is nowhere inside of that rebound. They'll take another one. This one doesn't go, and once again, the deep rebound. Now, Nover Drive blocked away. Good defense. The Terriers come up with a good one now and then, Laz.
You can tell this team's well coached defensively. They wait for that ball to leave the offensive hand and then try for the block.
Westerfield knocked away, saved by Brown. Now that fellow, again, as I said, you give him room.
Daly. Yep, you give him room, and he's going to can it. That's his third three-point shot that he's made. He's got 13 points now.
Indiana's just, they're going inside trying to get those rebounds, but they're not rotating back out on the shooter. Three is missed. Nover high in the air to clear it down, and he draws a foul. That goes against Storm. 3 on Storm. So Boston is just in a passel of trouble foul-wise. Scott and Brown with 4, Jarvis with 3, Storm 3, and Huckabee has 4.
They're not a big team anyway, and they may be losing some of those big players before the game's over.
Good wheeling move by Allen Henderson.
I'll tell you, he's on his way, Chuck. He has got some rebounding prowess, and he's got some offensive moves. And I'm sure that's one of many we'll see in his career.
Well, he's blocked at least 2 shots that we know of here in the second half. Leary had an excellent opportunity to step to the passing lane to get that very soft pass across to his man. Indiana, however, gets a break. Henderson wants to go back inside.
Gave it up wisely. A lot of times a guy makes a big play and then wants to come right down the floor the next time and do it. Good control by Henderson.
Nover with a great read to Greg Graham.
Now the offense is picking up. Sometimes it takes a play like that to get everybody going.
Bailey and Henderson with another block.
Block that pass, and now a fast break.
Nover goes to the basket. He's fouled going up.
Yeah, much better here the last minute, both offensively and defensively by Indiana.
Westerfield with his second. Scott and Brown check that. Bailey back in again along with Mike Jarvis. Well, we have 11:45 left to play in the game, and Indiana with a 38-13 lead at the break. Nover's first point of the second half. He's averaging 7.5, and he's at 7 right now. Albert Cheney will check back in as Nover smooths number 8 over the front rim, and we have timeout, 11:45 to play. We'll be back after these messages from your local stations. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
A little quick, there's only 36 seconds left on the shot clock. Coach Knight's pointing at the clock. The time starts with 45, so there's got to be 35 left on the clock for it to be a 10-second call. And he's not going to win that argument.
So on the turnover, it adds another one to Indiana, makes it 8. 3 on the way. Wow, that was like a rifle shot. Mike Jarvis. And Boston University is beginning to find the range as Lindemann stops up for 2.
So once Graham starts going to the basket, then that pass-off will be open. That time the big guy, Lindemann, gets 2 points.
Whistle. Away from the ball against Indiana.
That's going to go on Cheney. Post defense inside. Looked like he wrapped his arm around the offensive player. And Randy Drury makes the call from underneath the basket.
James Brown out to Bailey. Will fire. Off the glass, no good as Cheney gets good block out. 61-31. And not a very good pass by Damon Bailey.
We'll telegraph that pass. Bailey came right in to make the steal.
Indiana just standing again on the board. 3 on the way as Jarvis can't make it fall. An outlet to Graham. Every time I see Indiana standing watching the ball, as I go back to your entry comment tonight about concentration, how important it is to play 40 minutes. Good turnaround as Lindemann missed and then followed with the foul.
Made a good move inside. missed that shot and his anxiety to try to get it. Watch now. Moves in, quick step. He's got a little bunny right there. Couldn't get it to draw.
Number 21,
Ron Felling is up, calling to Lindemann, who's watching him, saying, "Stuff that ball."
That's the move that I think he can develop. That way you don't miss that shot nearly as much.
Jarvis, now Bailey. Brown. And Cheney coming in from outside. Outlet quickly to Reynolds.
3 in a row rebound now for Cheney.
Leary. Well, it's a cinch there is no record to be had tonight for field goal percentages by either team. Indiana has to be looking now for execution. Just play this game sensibly. And there's a step in, and that's going to be all for Jason Scott.
Greg Graham is so effective
quick
inside there. Could almost use him moving inside or outside, because he's tough to guard. Even though he's not tall inside, he's tough to guard because of his quickness.
Scott averaging 14.3 points per game, fouls out without scoring.
And we mentioned at the top what a big offensive threat he is, the second leading scorer here. Just never did find his game and got shut out.
Matt Price from Seattle, the 6'10 sophomore, replaces Scott. Price is not a scorer, averaging only 4.5.
Indiana leads the game now by 30 points. They have a 22-1 advantage from the free throw line. So 21 of that 30-point lead is from the free throw line.
Indiana had 39 shots, with 30 of 39 against Kentucky, which prompted Bob Knight to say if you would even imagine getting 39 shots or making 30 of them, you would win the game. Indiana lost, however, 76-74. 9 minutes left to play. In the corner, Daly. And no foul. Graham went down on a bump by Harris. Here's Harris. He'll let 3 fly. Oh, off the glass. Kevin Harris. He only has 6 points. And they all came from out there. And a whistle. And the kick ball resets the clock for Indiana. As you look at Harris from New York City, a junior. He is not a shooter as well, but he's upped his average tonight. Inside, Lindemann, and he travels. Shuffled his feet to get position. Going to be a good ball player, I think, Laz.
He is. He's working now with his back to the basket every day in practice. And in the Indiana offense, he's going to find times where he's moved outside, and he's got to learn to control that ball once he gets it.
Austin trailing by 29 points as Cheney aggressively goes after that.
He's really been on the board since he's gotten in the game here, the last substitution.
He's alone for 3. And that will not find the mark. The rebound's pulled away by Jarvis, who brings it up. They have 7:55 left to play. Price.
Lindemann putting good pressure on outside.
Almost lost that one as Brown nearly let it go through. And Lindemann, after Reynolds had taken a hand in the face, Lindemann puts one right back.
Like he got an elbow there, because Chris really came off the action there with a little groan. Let's watch now. Let's see what happens here. Boom, he got hit. Just look how Todd really brings his hand down on top of the. Watch, there it is, an elbow. And then see, Todd's got to keep that hand straight up and let the offensive player move the ball to avoid his arm, not make contact on Todd's part, because he'll draw the foul every time.
James Brown, 54% shooter from the stripe. It's his first. And Huckabee will be checking back in for Brown. Can't afford to lose Brown. He's an asset to them. Averages 5 rebounds a game. Hits for his 9th point, and we have a timeout, 7:40 remaining. Indiana with the lead, 63-36, and we'll be back after these messages. The score,
3 out of 4 now for Boston U. 24 out of 28. So you got a 21-point difference right there at the 5.
Indiana with the ball, bringing it up as we near the 7.5-minute mark. A lot of distance between the passes. Now Indiana closes it up a little bit between Leary and Reynolds. The whistle stops the action. We have a foul. It's going to be an illegal pick for a block set by somebody. No, I think trying to fight over the block.
Todd had set a screen.
Yeah, he'd set the screen.
And Matt Price got called for trying to come around that screen. But as the play continued, Todd started to move, so it looked like it could have been an offensive foul. The foul from Price came before that.
Lindemann has 7 points, all from the strike.
Yeah, he's got good form on that shot. I think he can be a good player just by learning some more inside moves, which they're working on with him every day.
Right through the outstretched hands of Barry Huckabee. So turnover is proving very costly down the stretch as you look at Coach Bob Brown.
He's really looking forward to this experience for his players to play at Indiana against a team like Indiana. And he's glad he drew him instead of having to beat him maybe the second time.
Well, you know, Laz, that's an interesting point because a lot of people say, well, why would someone want to come in and play Indiana? And obviously, it's the experience.
Exactly. His players will learn a lot from this game. And I think they've done well in playing as hard as they have. There's Calvin
Post flash again. And Gilbert Cheney
comes up from the baseline, sneaks up from behind on the defense, and gets the quick shot.
And immediately back at the other end, a hand check by Greg Graham. That is Greg's first personal foul. The junior from Warren Central leading all teams and all scorers with 19 points. Both teams. Scoring is pretty even for Indiana, save Eric Henderson. He has 2. Harris at the line. And he remains perfect on the season. 3 for 3. Hands this one up there and out.
We did it to him. That's it, Chuck.
I did it again. Coaches will tell you an ideal distance in passing between players is around 8 to 10 feet. Get any farther apart than that, and you're working sort of in the no man's land. Anything can happen. We have another foul against Boston. Mark Daly's first. And so Indiana, once in a while against this zone, will get spread, Laz, quite a bit, pick the dribble up, and nobody comes to the ball.
And that's hurt them with some of their turnovers today.
Rick Rossamiles, a hyphen name, Rossumyles. Rick Rossamiles, 6'10", from Hungry Hollow, Ontario. He's one of 2 Canadians on this team.
Calvert comes out and gets a little hand from the crowd. He hasn't done a lot of scoring offensively, but he's been there for some rebounds here in the second half.
Bailey, I think with every shot that he's taken tonight from the set has been short.
Seemed to fall back even on that free throw. He was leaning back before he really had to release. Instead of leaning forward, and that time he leaned forward a little more and it went a little long.
Misses both. Indiana stays 66. Boston University 37. 6.5 minutes remaining as the Terriers would like to mount some sort of saving grace here. Deflection and a steal. Give that one to Todd Lindemann. A stolen right back as Graham tried to take it through a maze of red jerseys. Jarvis gives it up. Back to Harris. Jarvis for 3.
Todd was looking at his man to block out instead of watching the ball. If he'd have turned his head, the ball would have come right to him.
Indiana clears this down. Lindemann gets down the floor very quickly in conversion.
There you see Damon coming up from that free throw line. A little bit what Pete Newell was talking about, getting Indiana open.
Henderson back to the glass for 2.
He has an uncanny knack. Oh, look at there's a charge. Yes, sir. Greg Graham snuck up, and as Jarvis turned, Graham drew the foul. Good camera work there to show that charge, but Henderson really finds that offensive rebound and puts it in. A good defensive play by Graham.
Jarvis's 4th foul as once again the Terriers go to their bench. In the lineup is Jeff Storm, also Tim Westerfield, and Rosamiles comes out. Sotris Monolopoulos is back in the lineup. Henderson, and a nice soft shot over the rim, and the foul.
Again, the players are looking forward to getting the ball into Henderson. He keeps the defense away, goes up strong, gets over the defense for a 3-point play.
Westerfield's 3rd. Allen will have one more. Concentration by the freshman for his 14th point.
All here in the second half.
Yes, sir. Huckabee, Monolopoulos. Lindemann.
Like Henderson wants that 3. Yes, he does want it.
Yeah, that's a little bit off target.
Good rebound there. Now you gotta watch that dribble. He got the rebound, but then he tried to dribble. He didn't have to dribble. He wasn't going anywhere with that dribble. Just hold on to the ball, get it back out to the guard, and start the offense.
71-37. And it's played pretty much error-free here in the second half. There's one right on target, and Jeff Storm is coming up and firing like a storm now. His 6th point.
The team that doesn't quit, and that's what Bob Brown is pleased with. Just really didn't have the firepower to stay with Indiana today.
There's that wheel move again with Henderson. Boy, that quick fake back inside, coming up to the top and then right down to the baseline.
It's a great move for a big man. Watch him now. Here's the good lead pass. Fake. He keeps the pivot foot, spins, doesn't use the arm. Great move. Look at him. He's excited. A fake to the right and then whip around to the left. And Huckabee got beat that time.
The freshman from Newcastle, 6'7", has just fouled out. With only 2 points, they came in the first half.
Huckabee being replaced in the Boston lineup by number 32.
Again is James Brown replacing Huckabee, as Alan Henderson will step up for another 3-point opportunity. And once again, Allen rips the nets, this time for his 17th point, moving into the number 2 position in Indiana scoring. Westerfield. And the rebound effort is good. The basket will count and the foul will go against Indiana.
Brings the Boston U bench up. Indiana too aggressive here on the shot block. Watch, here's Lindemann going for it, and Henderson both tried for that block, and that leaves nobody inside to get the rebound. Brown just walked right in and got it.
Brown puts this one off the front of the rim as Nover clears for Indiana. 4 minutes, 10 seconds left to play. Henderson comes over to talk to Bob Knight while the ball is worked to the opposite side of the floor, so Henderson really out of the play momentarily. Now makes a cut. Oh! Is that strategy? Is that strategy? Yes, sir. After the game, stop by your neighborhood 76 station for quality 76 gasolines or convenience items. 76-42 Indiana.
Well, what happened there, as Coach brought Henderson over to talk, it became a 5-on-4 situation. Henderson just went right to the basket with a nice lob pass. Not a set play, but good recognition by the Indiana guards.
And inside to Westerfield for his first basket. Lindemann, no, won't go. Tipped, saved. Jeff Storm holds it up and off the glass. And look who's back. Henderson, he's hooked, no call. Leary, Lindeman is just literally knocked off the play, and a foul goes against the Terriers. So Todd maybe getting enshrined in some battle costume out there.
There was another time when Lindeman should have came down with that slam dunk. He had the lead. Damon left his feet, had to dish the ball off. Todd got it, really should have just stuffed it. Instead, he missed the shot.
76-44 is the score at timeout, and we'll be back after these messages from your local stations. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
He whips right into the play. Brown couldn't do anything. The ball was too high for him to get from a standing jump, whereas Henderson had a running jump, and makes for a beautiful play.
Todd Lindeman on the last foul. 7-foot freshman. Really impresses me at the strike. Now, what happens when we get into Big Ten play and what action he sees then is another story. But in the early going here, he's 7 of 10 coming into tonight and misses this one as it takes a double bounce. He's done a pretty good job from the charity stripe. This is David Wallace, 6-foot freshman from Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. Inside, there's a post move and a pass. Shot off the rim by James Brown. Bailey lets three fly. Now he's in some rhythm. That's the way he was hitting before the game.
That's right. He's ready to go. The ball swung around. He was a couple steps outside that line, too.
80-44, a 36-point Indiana advantage as Brown thinks twice about that move. Anderson's going to be checking back in. No good. Rebound Henderson. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in this game. Second game to follow. Tennessee Martin. There's a pass. Very bad entry pass into Lindeman. And Monolopoulos misses the shot. Pulled down by Mr. Henderson. How many rebounds he has?
Oh, he's got a lot.
Check. There it is again. Go. That was just a little bit too high.
That was Damon Bailey with the pass that time. A replay we just saw. Just couldn't really grab control of it for the stuff this time, but it nearly rolled in anyway. Let's watch. Here's Damon. He's directing the offense. Boom. There's the quick pass. See, Nover brought the back man up, which was Westerfield, and that left a guard to try to stop Henderson on the line.
David Wallace committed the foul. You looked at Robert Bailey back in from Worcester, Massachusetts. Henderson is playing like a seasoned player in that he seems to capture the understanding of the game. He's got a lot of mechanics and a lot of skills. He's going out right now with 20 points. A lot of skills to learn, of course, to go along with his talent, but he seems to pick up the understanding of the game.
He really has. You know, that's been so tough for players over the years, Chuck, to come in here as freshmen and do that kind of job. You know, you got to think about Quinn Buckner and Isaiah Thomas and go back to fellows like that to find, and I think Henderson has that same quality.
Randy Drury calls the foul on Matt Nover, his third, as Eric Anderson is back in for Indiana, replacing Henderson. The General coming up now with his 463rd victory here at Indiana and looking for his 565th career.
Gentlemen, one and ready, the ball's out.
Storm hits both.
Take a look at Brown, still in a full court press with just a minute and a half to go. I like